This is Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living. Now, let's join Jeff already in the studio.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. Today, I'd like to share something with you, a story, a personal story actually, that's very near and dear to me. And this is about a school that I accidentally founded in Pakistan back a few years ago. And that seems to be an odd thing to say, that someone accidentally founded a school, but that's exactly how it happened. What happened is I received a friend request on Facebook from someone I hadn't seen in, probably over 25 years. And I accepted that request, and through them, one of their connections was this man in Pakistan named Nakash Gill. And he was running an orphanage and a daycare there. And he found me through this mutual friend that I knew from my hometown. And he reached out to me, and we became friends, and he is a chatty guy. He likes to message on Facebook, and every time he saw me come online, he would shoot a message over, shoot a message. So, I thought, well, what am I going to do? He's such a nice guy. I don't want to unfriend him, but I don't have all my life to spend messaging on Facebook either. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I said, well, he's got this orphanage and this daycare. Maybe I'll just send him a little bit of money to help out, buy some books or some supplies or something. So I sent him, not much, $20, $25, something like that. And I thought maybe that would, quiet him down for a little while. Anyways, no, I was wrong. That encouraged him. And he doubled up on the messages he was sending me, and constantly chatting every day and wanting to talk and sending messages. And so I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I really don't feel comfortable blocking him, because he's such a nice guy trying to do something so good in helping children. So I'd like to figure out a way to maybe support him. So it came to me just to try to ask some more questions and get a sense of what was going on over there, in his area in Punjab in eastern Pakistan. And as I asked him some questions, what I found out is that the children there do not have access to education. Pakistan is not like the U.S. There's not a strong centralized government. What it is basically is it's broken up into territories, and whoever owns the land is who everybody else works for. And in this particular area, there were no government schools. The kids he was trying to help are very impoverished. And what they were doing is they were working at brick kilns. That was the industry in their area, is they have a lot of dirt there. And so what they were doing is they have these brick kilns, and so they get all of the children, from just the time that they can possibly do it, just a few years old in some cases, they get the kids and their families, and they get them making bricks out of mud with molds by hand from sunup to sundown for $1 a day. So in a lot of situations, the families may owe these brick kiln owners for their houses, for everything, that they don't have another option to make money. They have to work because it's the only thing available to them for the wages that the brick kiln owners set. And so what happens is they just end up with generation after generation after generation of families working in the brick kilns, making bricks for $1 a day, sun up to sundown, and they just stay indebted and impoverished their entire lives. So when I heard that story, I thought, my goodness, that's horrific. That's horrific. And this kind of came to me. I wasn't looking for it. It kind of ended up on my plate and in my lap. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, probably I can't do anything alone. It's a much bigger problem than just I can address. But I thought, well, maybe with some other people we could do something. So as I chatted with my friend Nakash, I asked him, I said, well, you speak a little bit of English, Nakash, and your sister's even more fluent than you. Is there any way that we can start teaching these children some English? Because I knew from the story in Singapore that the former prime minister, he's been gone, I think, about 5 years now, but that prime minister, in 50 years, he transformed Singapore. He took it from a little third world subsidiary of Malaysia and transferred it into a first-rate economic superpower. But the way he did that was he made English the primary language, so that everybody there could learn English and have a chance to compete on the global market. And so I told him, I said, maybe if we can teach these kids English, we can give them a chance to do something else, to find some other education, some other kind of job. I said, is there any place there that we could meet and just have a little school? And the ones of you who know some English could teach what you know, and maybe we could add to it. And he said, no, there's not really any place for a school. I said, well, maybe there's somebody that has a house that would let us meet there. So he looked around and he found this man, who was willing to let us build a room onto his house and use it as a schoolroom. So I did a raffle, an online raffle for a photo shoot, sold tickets for that and put them in a drawing, and then some other people added some money, and we raised enough money to buy the materials to build this schoolroom on, or this extra room to be used as a schoolroom onto this house. And they made it. I remember it was 115 degrees there. They were pulling materials, gravel on an ox cart and mixing concrete, and it was laborious, and they did it all by hand. I don't know how they accomplished that, but they got it done. And so we started teaching classes, and not just English, but all the other curriculum that they would have gotten in a normal school education. And now, of course, this was not a government-accredited operation. So what happened is Nakash was able to negotiate with the government and get them to let us teach the kids during the school year. And at the end of the year, let them come to the government school and take their exams. And if they pass the exams, get their diploma for that grade level. And so that's what we started doing. And everybody's been passing. They've been studying hard. They've been moving up and moving up. But in order to get funds from outside the country, we had to get a provisional license from the government. Now, what we need to do is we need to become a government certified school, which we're very close to getting. They recognize what we're doing. They acknowledge it. And when we're very close, if we become that, then that enables us to broaden out and to help more schools. Right now, we've got about 50 kids enrolled. We have the opportunity of getting up to about 250 kids. And through the pictures that you'll be seeing as I talk, you can see some of the pictures of some of the students there. Right now, the website is up, and you can see the picture of one little girl, and it states there that this is an epidemic. This is not just the kids that we help in Pakistan, but this is a global epidemic. It says there's about 4 million of them, and I think maybe there's going to be some other photos coming up in a minute. So you can see a picture of some of the kids at our school, and one of the pictures is after the first year when we sent them to get their diplomas and take their exams, and they're all back, and we did a little celebration, a Children's Appreciation Day, and you can see about half of the kids. Yeah, there it is. And you can see that's only about half of the kids that we now have. That was a couple of years ago when we did that, and some of them weren't there because they still work in the brick kilns too, but then they're also able to take classes. So, we also got them together saying affirming things to each other. We realized, hey, we all need encouragement. We all need to have people affirm our true identity. Originally, we had called the school, and I don't know how we came up with this, but they wanted to name it after my mom and I, who helped get the school going, and came up with the idea after us. So it was called the Byrd Brick Kilns School. And then afterwards, I thought, well, that's a terrible identity. We don't want to affirm their identity as being brick kiln workers. We want to affirm who they really are. So we said they're leaders. So we changed the name to the Byrd Young Leaders School because that's what they are. We got them sharing things, holding up banners. Yeah, this is the one where it says, "You are a leader and a world changer." We want to get that thinking, get that identity, get that vision, cast that vision, and get that picture in their minds of what they can do, not where they are, but where they can be. And these young girls, you can kind of see in the background there, they're standing in front of the brickyard, where all of the bricks that are made by hand each day go to dry. I think they're waiting going in the kiln there. But, so we got them saying these kinds of things to each other, and there they are up close. You were a leader and a world changer. And, this has been hard. It's been hard raising money. It's been hard getting support. We currently have, 2 full-time teachers now and the director who is my friend Nakash. And, we have about 8 other adults that come in and help teach, in the various ways that they know. So here's one, where they're learning the animal names. They're learning them in Urdu and in English. And, but that's our goal is to instill in them a vision that they can be more where they are, to give them hope, that they do not have to stay trapped in working in brick kilns for all of their life, that for $1 a day. That's not much hope. A family of 5 people will make 1,000 bricks in a day for $5. So they are working their butts off. And they don't take, heat break days. They don't work 9 to 5. They work sun up to sundown. So in the summer, frequently, it's well over 100 degrees there. and they're still making bricks. And even when they're, and there's a picture, that's Nakash there, who's in the chair, seated reading, and, one of the other teachers with some of the kids there in the schoolroom. Because we now, what happened is after the end of that first year, in that room that we built on that man's house, he had worked at the brick kilns all his life, and they started putting pressure on him. They got worried that they were going to lose their next generation of slave labor. So they started pressuring him, and, ultimately we think they just paid him off to kick us out. So at the end of the first year, he actually kicked us out. We were like, well, what are we going to do now? So miraculously, another brick kiln owner saw what was happening and allowed us to move the school into his own office until we were able to raise the money. And it took, I think it was about another year and a half it took until we could raise enough money to buy a small piece of property in our own building so nobody could kick us out again. But we certainly need much better. You can kind of see there what it looks like. We could use some better facilities, and we could accommodate teaching a lot more people with that, and with the government registration. So what I want to share with you today is we're getting close to being able to get government certified and registered as a school, which will help us. And then that will allow us to connect with other organizations outside of Pakistan who can provide other resources. I've talked to some of the organizations, and they won't have anything to do with them unless they're government registered. It's just too difficult to get the money in there.
Jeff will be back shortly to wrap up today's message. This is Gabriela, still on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. If you've missed any part of today's message, you can hear it again online, as well as the entire archive of Empowered Living at www.talknetworkradio.com or search keyword #Empowered Living. We would like to acknowledge our music partners, Sound Ideas for Corporate to the Max, and Kevin MacLeod for Airport Lounge. Any scriptures read during this broadcast are from the New American Standard Version of the Holy Bible. If you would like to learn more about Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, visit www.jeffbyrdcoaching.com. That is JEFFBYRD coaching.com. Do a Facebook search for @CoachingRocks or drop Jeff a line at jeff@jeffbyrdcoaching.com. Again, JEFFBYRD coaching.com. Let Jeff's Coaching Rocks be the building blocks of your empowered success. Now, let's go back to Jeff for the rest of today's message.
So this is the page on the website. This is the donate page. Right now, a little bit of money from the U.S. goes a long way there, but it's just hard getting that. You know, there's so many needs around the world, and I understand that. I'm hit with, many, many requests every month, and I understand that every need is not a calling, but this has definitely felt like a calling to me. And so it's something I want to invite you, if this connects with you, if this touches you, we're only about $600 and some change away from having enough money to become government registered and to continue helping these kids. And, this is the page on the website. You can go to the website. It's just Byrd, and that's with a Y, BYRD, YoungLeadersSchool.com. ByrdYoungLeadersSchool.com. And if you go there, you can read the stories. You can read about this brick kiln slavery issue globally, how it impacts lives, how it hinders the lives and keeps them from developing. It takes away all hope of a better future. And you can also go to the donate page where you can make a one-time or a monthly donation there. Like I said, any help is a lot of help. These teachers, they work all month long teaching these kids for under $100 a month salary. And some things are just as expensive there as they are here. We tried to get them a camera a few years back, and I thought, well, maybe it'd be cheaper over there. No, they're just as expensive. Electronics are just as expensive. Other things